All right, X-Files, Season 6, Episode 4 and 5, Dreamland 1 and 2. All right, so, yeah, we get this, this is a body swap episode.
Yeah, the Freaky Friday episode.
Scully also, kind of dreams of a life outside of this, where she's, married with kids. And has a life, and I don't know. I think it's very obvious in her mind it's with Mulder,
yes,
and it's outside of this, and he kind of knows that's what's up too.
Yeah.
He likes to. He kind of. I don't know if I like this about him or not, but he does kind of like to antagonize her a little bit about her thing for him, even though it's totally. A requited love.
It's mutual.
Yeah. So I don't know why he does this. I think it's kind of we can't do it. So I'm just gonna make fun of it because I don't know what else to do. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he does kind of definitely tease her about things at times for sure.
Yeah.
So.
I like this episode, or these episodes.
I do
but
too.
I really don't like... So, one of the things we've discussed here with Scully is Scully does this whole denial thing endlessly.
Yeah.
And to add a whole other layer on top of the, denialism from her... We have the takesy backsies episodes where it's we see all these things and then it's but none of us will remember this when it's over.
Right, yeah, this is a big one.
Oh.
Which later there is a moment in the episode Monday where we think that maybe Mulder might sort of remember some of the events from this arc. But barely, and I think because it's it's labeled Dreamland as well. I know it's supposed to be the area that they're in, but I also feel it is it's kind of like a dream. Everything that happens.
Yeah, I think that is. I think it remains like a dream to them.
Yeah. In
their head, where they think they dreamt something.
Even though at the very end, Mulder there's physical consequences.
Changes,
to his life, and Scully also finds a physical thing that is a result of what happens. So I
don't understand how that's possible.
The ending is a little weird logically.
Because they go back in time.
Right.
And so he did not buy that waterbed. He did not put those mirrors above his head. He did not clean out his apartment. He did not do any of those things. So how they're still there when they traveled back in time
I don't think that they traveled back in time. I think it more has to just be that they're returned to that moment, mentally.
But then no one else on the outside of that remembers any of the things that happened either, right? Because Mulder screws Skinner's...
We don't know that they don't remember it. We don't know that she doesn't...
Skinner's
it's not. It's Kirsch. It's Kirsch's assistant. So we don't know.
Secretary.
There has not been any, indication that she has, is we slept together or whatever. But I don't think we know that that people on the outside...
If you got her pregnant, would she still be pregnant?
I think so.
And then she'd be like,
so.
Who's the father? I never had sex with anybody.
No, because I think that... Yeah, I don't know. I would say that she does remember.
Because Skinner gets called in on this, and he's not going to remember any of it.
Yeah.
Right? He's part of this.
I don't think Skinner is...
He goes to... I mean, they do have some interaction because he's in the FBI building.
But I don't think he goes there or anything.
So do you
Scully
think...
talks to him.
Do you think that the secretary remembers screwing Mulder?
Yes.
Really?
I do. But I think she thinks of it as a one-night stand.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah.
I do, too.
I think that's kind of
That's
why.
how the scene reads, for sure.
That's the only way it makes sense to me, is that they don't go back in time. They just don't remember the events of, the last however many days, basically. So they're returned to that moment on the street. And that's where they pick back up from mentally. So when they go back... And, maybe even though they have missing time, that does seem like something that Mulder would be where we lost, 4 days, what's happening? they just don't have memory of what happened. And that's the only way it makes sense, because otherwise I don't understand how they go back in time and his bed is a waterbed.
I don't know how they don't realize that they're missing like a week of their life.
I know. I don't know. It's
why
that's
is it,
definitely the problem with this episodes, with these 2 episodes, is that part of it does not make sense.
Why is it the 10th and not the 3rd?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't...
No, I agree. I don't know. I guess it doesn't make sense either way. I just like that version better because, I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I think what you're saying is the only thing that sort of makes sense, but it still doesn't fully make sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyways, let's move on from that. We've got, once again, Scully seems to only get really hit on by Mulder when it's someone pretending to be Mulder.
Well, this just highlights that, like, everybody thinks it's kind of like, of course they would be romantic together because they're both very attractive people and they have clear chemistry together. So it's like when somebody else is in Mulder's shoes, they want to take advantage of like that closeness, right? But it obviously, it almost worked out with Small Potatoes, just because Scully really wanted to talk, and he was not as like, this guy that is acting as Mulder is not acting like Mulder.
At all.
Like, the other guy from Small Potatoes, like, he kind of tries to be like Mulder. You know, he tries to fit in because he's like, I'm assuming his identity.
Yeah.
But this guy is like, I am assuming his identity, but I'm going to be myself and just, like, use his life, essentially.
Well, and of course Scully, like, sees him with some other chick coming out of the room. Like, she's not going to be into that at all.
Not at all. And...
But Mulder calls her.
Yeah.
And tells her, like, hey, it's me. Like, that's not me with you.
Yeah.
Like, she's... This is where Scully is so dumb.
She gets it in her head because of that.
This is where Scully is so dumb, as like, when it comes to the writing of her character. Because Scully is not dumb at all.
Yeah.
She's brilliant, right? And so she's already dealt with this with Small Potatoes. There's already precedence for this in the fucking show. So she would already be apt to believe that this is the case. And the fact that Mulder is acting so bizarre. And she gets a call like, hey, that guy with you's not Mulder. And she's like, what is this prank call? Like, there's no way she wouldn't listen.
She's skeptical, but she does end up listening. She does end up
it takes way
going
too
there.
Long.
It does take a long time, but she goes there to be like, you called me, and like... He's like, oh, like, I know what you ate for breakfast and blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, anybody could have observed that. And he's like, even the yogurt thing?
Yeah,
like, which is really funny. But I do think, like, yeah, that's what puts it in her head that, like, not only is the Mulder that she's with acting really insane, but then she gets the call being like, it's not me.
Another noteworthy thing here, 2 episodes ago, we had Drive with Bryan Cranston. In this episode... Vince Gilligan, once again, is writing, and we've got good old Chuck McGill from Better Call Saul.
He's a great actor. He does a really good job in this. I like both of their performances. It's always fun.
The mirror scene in this is very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
For the time, because this is just them mimicking each other.
Yeah.
And he's dancing, and they're coming out, and they're dancing backwards, and all that stuff. That's a very fun scene.
Oh, super fun.
And really, really... like impressive feat between the 2 actors and mirroring each other, very similar. I mean, you can obviously see a couple movements that don't perfectly align. They're not perfectly aligned,
but it's great. It was really fun watching it with the kids because like it starts off so just like, you know, moving your hands, and then when he like comes out and is like making all kinds of faces, like his face all scrunched up, and really fun. And then his wife walks in and is like, and he's like pretending to do like Tai Chi or something. It's like, what the heck? This is also this is a very comedic story arc, of course, too. Like when he is pretending to be, or not pretending, but like he's stuck in this other guy's body, and he's got like 2 kids named like Terry and Chris, like which are you know obviously 2
unisex names.
Yeah, unisex names. And so like the daughter comes down, and he's like, Terry, which is his
mom
boy's name, or maybe he says Chris, whatever, you know, whichever.
No, it's Terry's the boy, Chris is the girl.
Yeah. Yeah, so he calls her that, and it's just like this poor girl. And then
Terry goes by Terrence.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then there's another scene where they're like, have you given her an answer on her nose yet?
Yeah.
And he's like sitting
You're
there.
young for
like,
surgery.
Yeah, he's like staring at her for so long trying to figure out what it is. And he's like, she shouldn't get a nose job.
Yeah, I think she's a little young for surgery.
And she's just like freaks out.
My
like,
nose ring.
Yeah, just wants a nose piercing. And it's like, oh my God, Mulder. But it's like, he doesn't know. And unfortunately, she doesn't have a giant nose or anything like that. He's just like, he doesn't know what teen kids want. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
We also have, so going with our kind of first question that I prompted you with, if what you're saying is true, then his wife and kids, especially his wife, will have left him when he gets home. Because the consequences should be there because she's not there in that moment.
I'm wondering
so everyone on the outside should still be affected.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah, the only way that they wouldn't be is if his house was, like, in that, like, area. But I don't think it is, because I think that area is, like, literally in the middle of the desert.
Correct.
So, yeah, theoretically, but I don't know, because, like, the whole reason she was leaving him was because she thought he was, like, cheating on her and stuff, and Mulder...
He is. With Mulder's body.
He did, but, like, technically, like, Mulder was not, like, when she thought he was cheating, it was when Mulder was in his body, and he was not. So, and they do explain it to her, so I don't know if they're leaving. I think they stay. I think they end up staying.
Yeah.
But you're right, they should have total memory, and they should, like, tell him and be like, you switched bodies with somebody. Or at least his wife should.
We have people getting fused with other people. We have an iguana or something that gets fused with a rock, although it's still alive. I don't understand how that's possible because it can't get oxygen.
A guy that's in a rock.
Yeah, there was two coins merged together, which are still merged together when Scully gets home.
There's also
got a couple that merged together as like one weird being.
Because they're like kissing and it happens, and then they like body horror merge together.
Yeah, but then they're pulled apart, and that's what leads them to realize that they have to be in that area at that time to get it reversed. Fixed.
Then there's also this like soldier who switches places with a native woman, and it's really weird because the actress that they cast for the native, like this old native woman, is not a native person at all.
Or an old woman.
And they do this horrible makeup on them to make them look native and old, and it looks so bad. And I don't understand why, because they've literally done episodes with native actors before. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just find an old native actress.
Because I think that they wanted the vitality of a young person, because the character
it's even funnier to have an old person that's like, you know, playing. That's the whole point of acting. That's the whole point of acting. I did not like that. I thought that was very weird and like kind of offensive and just odd. So, weird part.
Scully is forced to have Mulder arrested in this once again. Yeah. Just so naive. I don't get it. That is so stupid. Scully would not. She would 100% realize this is not Mulder.
Yeah.
So dumb. Anyway, the fighter pilot in this has a call sign of Maverick.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I don't have to say much about that. I think you can figure out what that's in reference to. Scully is suspended from, the FBI for a bit.
Yep.
And then Scully finally figures it out in episode 2. They go to the Ailey Inn.
Yes.
Which is cute.
Yeah.
Mulder is 100% ruining this guy's marriage and his life.
My God.
But, I mean, as soon as he gets away from his wife and he's like, I'm in another body, he just starts...
he's a bad guy for sure.
Well, yeah, he created Saddam Hussein. He made him up.
I know, yeah. When Scully takes him to the lone gunman, and he's like, he's just
He's
like
you believe
laughing
that crap?
at all of them, and is like, you guys are like literally just telling like our conspiracy theories to everyone, which sucks. Yeah, he's a jerk for sure, and like he only kind of feels bad for his wife like for a moment, but I do think she should leave him. I feel like
100%.
maybe you're right. Maybe she does end up leaving him because he is a bad father and like a bad person. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. But ultimately, I mean, it's a fun episode.
It is fun. It is
2 episodes. Yeah. But because it's taken back. Although, in Monday, he still has the waterbed and the mirror above
He
his
has all of it.
So.
Yeah, the mirror above is so
that
crazy.
Stays.
He's like so convinced he's going to sleep with Scully.
Oh, man. Imagine if they did.
That would have been bad.
But it doesn't matter because they don't remember it.
There's also just a moment before they find out that they can, like, switch the fusion or whatever, when Scully's like, it literally was just it's like a chance occurrence, like there's no way we can recreate it, really, like you're just stuck in this guy's body, and it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean he's stuck in his life though. It's like, that's not my life, like you know what I mean? So thank God there is a way that it's just kind of fixing itself, and because otherwise, what the hell, that would be so terrible.
Freaky Friday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would have not liked if Mulder and Scully slept together in this episode as that guy.
Yeah.
Because Scully would never fall for this guy.
Never.
Like the way that he's acting,
Never.
it would do a disservice to her character, even if they like take it back and she doesn't remember it.
Definitely.
That is not the way I want to see them sleep together for the first time.
No, he's like really gross and skeezy. Yeah. And he's all like... Yeah, he's gross. He's really gross. He like has like a message recorded on the answering machine saying that he's like entertaining like an important guest or like a special guest or something, which is just like, he's so presumptuous that he's just like, I'm gonna sleep with her. Yeah. For sure. Like, it's gross. Yeah.
But every guy who is Mulder for a bit goes to his house and is like, I'm gonna use his looks, and this guy's a loser.
100%. Well, because Mulder doesn't, he's married to his work, right? Like, that's what's important to him, but it can't be like outside of his understanding that he's a handsome man. Like, he does get attention from women often, like very often, and Scully gets attention from men too. But I feel like Mulder gets a lot of attention from the ladies. Like, there's even another episode this season with another woman that's like into him that we, it's like just all the time. There's women into Mulder.
It feels very lopsided in that way. I feel like Scully would get more attention, but
what I think it comes down to is men are intimidated by Scully.
We have Frohickey, we have Pendrell, we have the tattoo guy, we have the dude at her sister's birthday, or her sister's kid's birthday party, who she goes out on a date with. I think it's like the only real date outside of the tattoo guy she ever goes on in the show. Doesn't this guy ask her on a date? Well, that's like as Mulder.
Yeah, he's like, come over to my house, I'll make you food. Like, that's why she goes over there. Yeah. And she's like, and then she also has Mulder. Like technically that guy from the like not Mormon thing from like season 1.
Gender bender? No fucking way.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think that Mulder has way more like actual people. Well, I shouldn't say actual people, because like Pendrell was like super into her. And the tattoo guy was into her too, and like they're not bad or anything at all. And obviously Frohickey isn't either, but Mulder gets like the setup of a lot of other characters, and Scully doesn't.
Oh, and then there's Luke Wilson's character.
Oh yeah, that she's into.
Yeah, we don't get her into many guys.
That's true.
That's pretty rare.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a little. I think you're right though. It is more lopsided, but they do try to give her. But they give her like characters as like a joke, or like maybe one time or two times they're like kind of serious. And I do think it's because she's supposed to be an intimidating character.
Frohickey is the only one who speaks the truth. He's the only relatable character for me when it comes to Scully. He's just outright like, she's hot.
Yeah.
And
it's true. Yeah.
All right, that's that. Episode 4 and 5. And we'll see you in the next, which is maybe my favorite episode of the show thus far. Yay. So we'll talk about it next time. All right, bye.
Bye.